Okay, next up on the podcast, we speak to Tom Murphy, the Wexford FC goalkeeper, and we'd like to bring in Tom now. How you doing, Tom?
How are you, lads?
Very well.
Great.
How's things?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
How's all down in Wexford, Tom? I suppose you've been the safest pair of hands down there for the last little while. You're looking forward to the new season.
Yeah, no, we've had a good pre-season. We kind of started early January and went full into it, and we've just finished up there. We played Friday night our last pre-season game, so we had kind of a tough run of pre-season games with who we played, but definitely we feel that we're ready. And again, we've brought in more new signings, especially off the back of last year. So it'll be hopefully interesting to see how we get on against Cabinteely Friday night at home.
Yeah, like you said there, you've brought in a number of good players, and I think even last year Wexford surprised people with some of the players they brought in, and this year again the same, brought in a number of good players. Obviously, one player that's come in is Jimmy Corker in the same position as yourself. Like, how do you find the competition and the battle for places there, specifically with yourself, but throughout the team for a jersey on a match day?
Yeah, it's good. I think it's one of them ones where you can look at it two ways. You can either look at it and some players might feel it as a threat, or then you look at it and it'll probably keep you at the top of your game more so than anything. I think it's good that you kind of have competition, because I think you can kind of fall into it if you're comfortable and you know you're playing. You can kind of fall into bad habits and you kind of expect to be playing. Whereas when you have competition there, and especially of a good quality, it's keeping you on your toes. It's making sure that you're spot on in every session. I think we've kind of seen that throughout the whole of pre-season with kind of all the positions in the team. It's definitely a difference on last year. Kind of last year, you kind of have a sense of who is going to be in the starting 11, where it's very open now
Yeah.
at the minute, and we've kind of tried new things in pre-season, different formations, different players in different positions, and a lot of players have put a stake in a claim for the starting 11 come Friday night now.
Yeah, I think Tommy Barrett let the cat out of the bag there, but Harry Kenny been part of the setup down in Wexford. What's Harry's role been through pre-season?
Yeah, so Harry came in with us for a bit at the end of last season, as well as the assistant manager to Brian. He's lucky enough, we've got him back again this year as assistant manager again. And I think it's great to have him down. He has that experience because we are a relatively young team. Like, we do have a few older players in the squad, but a lot of us are maybe our second year at first team level, or some players are only just coming out of 19s football. So having Harry then as well, then there to guide you, who knows the league, because especially the first division, it's a very hard league. Probably harder to get out of than the first or the Premier Division. So to have that experience and Harry that kind of knows the game and knows the players and kind of knows the managers of each teams, to bring in alongside Brian, has been great to get in, and especially the kind of the players that Harry's been able to attract into the club as well has been great.
A lot of the talk around the league is going to be of kind of Shells, Galway, Cork City dropping down. Is there any expectations within your own dressing room? Like, do you see that playoff spot as being viable or competing high up the table? Like, what is the expectation within the dressing room for that group of players?
I think definitely we want to be competing in every game anyway. I think we found last year what kind of happened is we kind of set expectations at the start of the season, and then obviously COVID hit and we lost a lot of players throughout the season. Probably the squad that we started the season with was far from the squad that we finished it with. So, and there was games kind of last year where we probably weren't as competitive as we should have been. So we definitely be looking to tighten up on that and definitely being competitive in each game. We've been lucky enough, we've actually got to test ourselves against the likes of Galway and Shells in pre-season, so we kind of know where we're in and around with them kind of teams. So we'll definitely be looking at being competitive and definitely climbing up a few places. We've kind of seen where we have finished the last few years around the bottom, so we'll definitely be looking at climbing up that table. But as you say, it's going to be a very strong league and a tough league this year with the likes of Shells and Cork and Galway, and then you obviously have Bray and you have Athlone who strengthened as well. So it's going to be a tough league, but hopefully we will be competing and we will be up and in around the upper half of the table anyway.
On a personal level, of course, we've talked about that competition for the jersey. You're out in first home game on Friday night in the league. Do you have any indication as we speak now, a week out, maybe who's going to be filling that jersey? Will you get the nod? Will Jimmy Corcoran get the nod? He's come in obviously from Dundalk in the off season. What can you tell us about that?
There's none at all, if I'm honest. It's literally they're keeping their cards kind of very close to their chest for everybody, really. With every game we've kind of played, and this going for the whole team, everybody's kind of split minutes and everybody's played similar enough minutes. And like I say, we've changed formations up throughout the preseason, so we actually haven't really finalized the formation that we're going to go to. And I suppose come Friday night, whatever formation they pick, they'll pick the best players that are suited to that to hopefully get the 3 points on Friday night. So I suppose it'll just be hopefully a good week of training, and then we'll see come Friday night.
Yeah, it's Cabinteely up first, and they've actually lost a lot of players. And I know from my time with Devo, he kind of scrambles lads together and gets a team together somehow. Is it difficult for you to approach that game or prepare for that game, considering the team that you played against last season probably completely different to the Cabinteely team you'll play against this year?
I think we'll probably still approach it kind of the same, and I suppose it's kind of one of them ones where when it's the first few games of the season, you kind of focus more on yourself than the opposition, because not a lot of teams kind of show their cards too much in pre-season. And I think we even see that when you look at the results in the Premier Division this weekend. Like, there was a good few shocks on the cards. Like, you're seeing, like, a lot of people would have wrote yous off this weekend, Dean, with Longford, and he's really dominated Derry. So there you go. And I think we'll probably see the same probably this week or coming in the first division. I think it's one of them ones where the Cabo are always a team, as you say. They will lose players, but they'll strengthen. And I think what will be beneficial for them this season is bringing in Collie O'Neill there. Collie's been a great manager. He would have been the first manager I kind of dealt with when I came back from England at UCD. And him coming in with Devo there will definitely benefit Cabo in the long term anyway.
Yeah, obviously there's a huge development in the number of quality players coming out of the underage leagues, but also quality coaches getting real national league experience at various levels now. How much has that raised the bar in that first division? Because we're talking about full-time teams, we're talking about professional players, we're talking about, like you're saying, you were in the lower reaches of that division last year, but you're stronger again, and everyone around you has strengthened as well. Is that a factor maybe in terms of how those squads have improved over the last probably season or two in particular?
Yeah, I think what's going to benefit even more this year is the coverage that it'll get with League of Ireland TV. I think that's going to be massive for the league this year, because I think even you look into the likes of the under-21 squads and under-19 squads and squads like that, where we are seeing more League of Ireland players coming into it. And take, for instance, there you had Brian Maher, that's at Brays in the first division, and he's up in the 21 squad. So there you go. That just says the strength of the first division, that you have international players playing in the league. And I definitely think, I feel it's more beneficial, and it's probably better for players' development probably to stay at home probably a bit longer, come home and play in the league rather than play 23s or reserve team football in England, because it's more beneficial and it's more realistic, because you're playing for points. And especially at a younger age, you're seeing players probably developing quicker. And whereas if they're probably in England, they wouldn't get the chances that they're getting in the league. Like, you will have to take a look at some of the boys in the Premier Division. Like, you have Dawson Devoy, Andy Lyons, you have Aaron Bulger at Longford, A. Dervin. All of them players are under 21, and they have at least 20-30 appearances under their belt at first team level. And like that, coming into the league now, you're starting to see younger coaches then as well, and better styles of football. Like, you take, for instance, like last year would have been my first proper senior year, and you had what I seen, like, you're dealing with, say, Longford are playing out from the back, you're dealing with Bray playing out from the back, Drogheda playing out from the back. It's not just kind of people look then at the first division and say, oh, it's just long ball, stuff like that, where there is teams that are trying to play football in the right way. And it's teams are finding the balance now of mixing young players with the more experienced players as well, and that's only benefiting the league. And it's like, you see last year, it's like Bray were literally a kick of the ball away from getting up, and then they don't even get up through the playoffs. And then you had, say, ourselves dealing with Longford, you kind of got in there through the playoffs, and everybody would have probably wouldn't have pitches to go up. So it just kind of shows you the strength of the league, and it's only going from strength to strength again this year.
Never mind going up. They're top of the Premier Division at the moment as well. You touched on the LOITV, and we haven't got the concrete details of that yet. I know a price has come out, €79, I think, is the price for the season. It's great value for anyone who follows the league. Even if it's just one team in the league you're interested in, €79 still a steal, really, to see all the games. It also has all the women's games for free, but of course, neither of you will be bothered about that, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that now. There'll be a bit of interest there. Anyway, I think that's what myself and Dean have in common. Both of our girlfriends or partners are playing with Peamount, so
yeah, we'll be logging on to the Peamount streams.
Yeah.
So you're the male equivalent of the Wags when Peamount are winning cups and leagues. Your partners have put it up to you last season. You've no pressure at all.
That's the thing. The trophy cabinets are full here with our partners. We need to chip in a little bit, don't we, Tom?
We're lacking a few medals. If we even come together, maybe we might get near enough what they get in a season.
Exactly.
Well, listen, Tom, we're going to let you and the other half of the Goalkeepers Union go. The very best of luck to you this season. Best luck on Friday night as well against Cabinteely. And I suppose that personal clash of the intrigue of the week and the excitement. I hope it doesn't get too much in terms of who'll be wearing that jersey on the pitch on Friday night. I know it's interesting from an outsider's point of view. I'm sure it's absolutely nerve-wracking from your own personal point of view. But the very best of luck for the season ahead.
Thanks very much.
All the best, Tom.
Cheers, Ian.